So I took some time to practice the new map, and I did find some very interesting locations, and I did come up with some very interesting tactics on how to ensure a good battle or to ensure, in most cases, a victory. And of course, I want to show you real quick my controls. A lot of you guys have asked me how to turn on the reticle. It's right here in the tank controls. It's basically this little option here, enable reticle. Basically it will give you a different aim, and I would say that aim might be a bit more advanced and can help you to aim at longer distances. Now, auto zoom is what I usually have when I play the ATGMs, but I have it disabled when I'm playing the other vehicles. And, well, the control methods, I use the static stick. The arrows aren't my favorite. And I've also been told that the sensitivity might be changed. Well, here you can take a look at my sensitivity. I haven't, well, it's still the same as it used to be. I have the sensitivity on the lower ends. Works really good for this display. Although it really depends on your display's touch sensitivity. Mine is 280 Hz, I believe, so this works really well for this device. But let's jump in some battles and let me show you how I usually play the maps. Now, this can be applied on both sides, since the maps are actually it's very fair to both teams. It's constructed in such a way that you can apply the same tactic on both sides. Now, I usually like to keep the tank around the corner, very close to the edge of the map, so that I can't get flanked. Flanking is quite common on this map, and it is definitely favoring heavy tanks in a way. This map does love heavy tanks. It also loves vehicles that have a tall turret, tall hull, basically vehicle that can shoot over cover. And the KV, well, this KV for example, is probably one of the best vehicles that you can have for this map. Now, right here you already crossed the midsection of the map, and this right here could be potentially a key point. However, I haven't noticed a lot of players to rush towards this position. But from this point on, you have a little opening that is right over here on the right side, where you can basically exit towards the midpoint of map. And this is the opening right here that can give you some good shots at the side hull of potential enemy tanks that can be right on this position. Now, I also like to move around. On this map, camping isn't really going to work that well. This map requires you to move, it requires you to be active. And there we go, flanked one box tank. The middle point of the map, right around the statue right here, is tall. It will give you a very good view on the side hull or on the lower plate armor of your enemy, and it's also the base in this case. Usually it's the base in the normal map as well. But if you do go from this position, you will have, if the enemy team, and usually the enemy team does rush, usually the enemy tanks and friendly tanks like to rush forward, and they have the main battle right in the middle over here. If you flank, you will have a very good advantage over them, since they will not be able to, well, they will be able to see you, but they'll be busy shooting at front. So flanking, and it can be used to take the zone away from the enemy if they're holding it. If you're playing with a platoon, this will work really well. This position is going to be really awesome for a platoon. Look, M4 destroyed. There's a tiger also showing the side armor, although I'll shoot it in third. There we go, ammo exploded. And just like that we have captured the middle point of this map. Let me quickly clear out the enemy tanks. I do like to climb on top, and you can use this top position right here to angle, and if you know what you're doing it will be a very advantageous position, since you do have the high ground. Star Wars reference right there. You do have a high ground, and you do have a good view on most of the left side or right side if you go on the right side of the map. But oh, and you also have to be careful not to get flanked. I mean, if you go in the middle, you have to be very careful about your surroundings, since you don't really know from what point the enemy tank can just pop out. So it's very important to have a good situational awareness and to know where the enemy tanks are, where your friendly tanks are. But I recommend that you don't stay here for too long. Clear the tanks that you have to clear and basically take cover. Go lower below the staircase where you have more cover. This position is good. If you're angled, if you have a very heavily armored tank like this one, you can technically stay here, but you will be a big target, and I don't really recommend it to stay on this position for long. Capture the base and keep on moving. If I have to kind of explain the map in one word, it is basically keep moving and never stop. Keep moving and destroy enemy tanks, never stop. This map has been pretty awesome so far. I like it. The map's been pretty awesome so far. I like it a lot actually, and it's definitely one of the more, let's say, unique maps that we have received. One of the more unique maps for sure. And I'm fairly sure there's a lot of different covers and positions, but right now for this specific map, this right here is, well, not the ideal one for sure, but you know, with this vehicle it works really well. This can be done with tank destroyers. I'll be doing a run of this map with a tank destroyer after this battle. Didn't really have much luck with medium tanks on this map. Again, a map like this is really rewarding heavily armored vehicles. It does reward tank destroyers, also heavily armored, but it doesn't really seem to favor medium tanks and light tanks a lot. The best position for a light tank or for a medium tank would be on the right side in the clear opening, basically, where is the wooded area. The wooded area is basically the ideal spot for a light tank. It's also an ideal spot for tank destroyers, tanks with a heavily armored turret. So it is a big map. That's true. It's a pretty big map, but it is definitely favoring the heavier armored vehicles more than the light armored vehicles. With the light armored vehicles, you can technically run around and flank, but if you are alone and if you get jumped by a couple tanks, yeah, it's not going to probably end well. But the tactic can be applied in the same way, basically. It can be applied easily in the same way that works with the heavy tank. The only difference is with the heavy tank, I am basically angling and obviously not moving that much, although I did move a lot. I did make a full circle on the map. On this map you will be doing a lot of circles. After all, there's a lot of corridors, a lot of streets. There's honestly a lot of positions, and it is kind of easy to get lost in this map. Although it is, not too bad, but you can get lost in this map. And I noticed a couple times in the early start, and even after, after like a day or two after the update, I noticed sometimes you would actually go a full circle with your whole team and there will be no kills because the enemy team is also moving all over the place. And I think that's kind of interesting because you never know what you can expect, you never know what you can encounter. But this was a very good game. 15 kills, I'll take it. And probably my best battle that I had with so far on this map. That's why I took this video, for example. I believe that was a very good example on how to play this map and figure out to show and explain what I was basically doing in that. Now let me drive a tank destroyer. Now, tank destroyers in this case on this map can be very scary, since you can technically close off an entire section of the map. Depending when where you spawn, if you spawn on the left side of the map, then it's best to basically take the same route I did take with the first battle, since it does give you a very quick access to the middle, and it does give you a very nice access to one of the choke points, or well, key points that could be right over here. Now, this position does have a technical value since it basically has an opening to the middle, but I haven't noticed a lot of players heading over here, or at least not now. Very rarely I see players on this corner, and I'm taking that's an advantage because it really does allow me to bring a very big gun to look at some side armor on the enemy tanks, which would be in the middle. And I don't really like to just rush forward. I take a more tactical approach to the map, and well, you will see what I'm talking about when I said that you'll be spinning laps without actually seeing anyone. I am almost near the enemy base and there is still no one around. Now I'm actually right in the middle of the map, almost looking at the middle basically. And if I were in a medium tank, I would be facing some tanks that usually would be already busy shooting at someone else, and you can get some very good flanking shots from this position. And there's a M18. And how, oh my god, yeah, I love how my ammo doesn't do. I think I'm fairly sure I hit the ammo on the M18 and it failed to detonate. Imagine a naval explosive AP round hitting a 13mm armor with a 5mm fuse and not detonating. That's just consistency at its finest. Regardless, anyway. And the Hellcat was blown up. My artillery was also super late. I love that. My artillery never hits, even though I upgrade everything and I have the best possible upgrades, or should I say, well, I basically took the strongest artillery and doesn't do any damage to light armor vehicles. That's just amazing. So, we are in the middle. A Tiger destroyed. You can also follow your teammates, although I would actually prefer that teammates follow me, since my tactics that usually, where I usually go, kind of require me to have a friendly or two to give me support, or I reload, of course. But I'll do I'll manage alone. Of course, I forgot that this thing doesn't rotate. I have to actually move the joystick to move the tank. I took a hit, but the Hellcat failed to destroy the box, so we are still driving around. Now, even with this tank, I'm always moving around. You're never really stationary that much, since the corners are small, the streets are well, not narrow, but a lot of corners. The map is huge. There's buildings everywhere, and it doesn't really have any. Well, you can technically camp some certain positions, but you will do a lot more, and you will definitely have much more kills if you are moving around and basically looking for tanks. This map does play a little bit different from other maps because, you know, in the previous maps you can technically sit and snipe from one position through the whole match and it will work. You can do that, it will work, and you have no problems. On this map you can do the same thing, but you will basically just probably sit there and kill maybe 1 or 2 tanks, and you will not have much action. And in some cases, well, actually in most cases that I've seen, you will get flanked. Doesn't matter where you are, at one point you'll get flanked. There's just so many streets, so many corners. Being stationary and just camping one spot on this map isn't really the best idea. I did try, but wasn't able to do much, and that's basically how I came up to the more active way of playing this map. The goal here is to have a certain route. You can plan the route ahead. You can actually copy my exact route that I take. Usually it is quite easy to get to the positions, since there isn't usually that many players driving where I'm driving. You can also use the aircraft to basically scout and have a bird's eye view of everything, and then you can plan ahead as well. Also very interesting and a good tactic to take. Playing the tank destroyers is maybe a bit more difficult since you don't have a rotating turret, but the idea is the same, and this idea can be applied for low tier, medium tier and high tier as well. It is a universal tactic that so far has been working really well. This map is probably going to be one of my favorite maps. It is honestly very exciting, very interesting. Every time it's different, and I've had a blast so far with almost every game. I almost had every game be very good with this map. And well, we are doing some more flanking. It is very funny how you will be flanking targets a lot. Now I always position myself to have some form of room for error, and when I say room for error, I position myself in such a way that I can't get easily flanked. I make sure that I clear the road ahead, and I make sure that there is no hostile behind. So far it's been working really well, and I think we will definitely win this match. More maps like these would be pretty awesome. And we are now in the enemy base, and now I can capture. It is quite chaotic indeed. I remember the first match I played with this was It was weird, but it did take me a good battle, when I had the chance to basically drive around the whole map. I did take one match with the T29, and I basically I was able to circle the map a couple times, and that's basically how I found out about where to go and how to go. Had to actually spin a couple laps around the whole thing and to realize how things work. Been pretty interesting to do that. Can you imagine if this map was just a little bit larger? Oh my god. If this map was just a little bit larger, maybe in the future when the developers make more maps, maybe they'll expand the current ones. Would be awesome if the map was just much larger. And the frame rates would not be a problem, since it doesn't have to render the whole thing at once. It just renders what you can see, like any other game. So frame rate would be exactly the same as it is, right? I mean, the maps are already big. When you are when you're flying the aircraft, you basically see the whole map from the bird's eye view. So frame rate is honestly not a big problem. And now let me start from a different position. I'll just start from the right position, and this position here, as I mentioned before, is more for tank destroyers, for medium tanks, for tanks that like to take advantage of cover. The T29 can also work really well here. Basically any tank with a heavily armored turrets, and you will see those hills. Well, sniping is basically the key thing that you are going to be doing here. You also can take advantage of the ground over here. As you can see, the enemy team is doing the same, and you can't really see much of the tank. Only just a little bit of the turret is visible. Of course, if you go close to those little hills, you can completely hide the hull of the vehicle, and that will allow you for some very nice troll shots, or very nice, I guess, very nice position for the T29. The opposite side though, the opposite side on this map has I would say a better position, since you have that rubble where that M18 has been hiding at, where only the gun is visible, and just a little tiny bit of the tank is also visible. But with high explosive you can just wreck lightly armored vehicles. A Churchill, yeah, I'm not going to be able to penetrate that. Now, I'm fairly sure the enemy can shoot through those racks in front of me, the bus racks. So this right here is not the ideal position, but you can stay here. If you can see the enemy and the enemy can see you, then you can easily stay here and keep shooting. But of course, you have to be able to penetrate the target if you want to stay here, and I did kill something there. I have no... oh, I killed I think that was a KV. Never mind, I'll just keep moving forward. And the tree here is kind of masking the target in a way, so you can't really see the target really well, but not a big deal. You can still see the target pretty well. And the bird's eye view on the map, you can see how the terrain is positioned. You can see where the enemy tanks are, and you can see all the little streets where they can be lurking at. So this position is good, but have to be careful not to let your guard down, and try to eliminate the tanks that pose a higher threat to your vehicle first. Now, the position that I do like, and a position that I haven't been experimenting a lot, I haven't had much luck on this to get this position of the map, to get this side, but you do have a very interesting little position just a bit ahead, right where the IS-1 was at. You do have some form of cover there, and I believe medium tanks, very fast tanks, can get to this position very quickly, and you can have the rubble here as cover while eliminating tanks that are up front. Also can go here with ATGM carriers. They should be able to shoot over the cover here, which would be very evil. Also, this position is very good for ATGM carriers. This whole side is actually really good for all sorts of ATGM vehicles, since you do have a very good cover and you can shoot over cover and directly into the enemy team, which means that you can take advantage of the sneakiness that they have. IT-1 Raketenjak Panzer will love this position, since they're very stealthy, very low profile vehicles. They will benefit a lot from this side on both teams, by the way. Same thing can be applied on both sides, basically, since there's a very little difference between the map layouts. But there is a difference. I'm actually headed towards there to show you what I'm talking about. There is a difference right around that, where my green icon was. There's a little cover there that I believe is better than the cover that we have on my side of the team here, but in the grand scale of things it's not that important, but in some cases it might be quite beneficial. I actually prefer this side I actually prefer the enemy team side for this side of the whole map. That's just how Zone A is working. And I'm just angling around the corner to see what tank I have in front of me. I don't see anything. Oh, there they are. Oh, they were actually right in front of me. That's just lovely. T-3485 tank destroyed. Now let me see, where should I go to? Well, I mean, yeah, that's the position that I was talking about, right over there. That position right here is so evil. I would say it's better than the position of my team, because you can hide, and only your gun is visible, basically. Nothing else, just your gun is visible. And it is super close to the spawn point. The enemy spawn is basically right around the corner, so you do have a very quick access to one of the best positions on the map. And I missed the lower plate on the IS. How did that happen? Just how my luck works. Luck is a very big factor. But it's been a good match so far. 8 kills. I am definitely not going to complain about 8 kills. Pretty solid, pretty good. Pretty solid, really good. And it does look like we are about to win the match. I can shoot, technically I'm able to shoot, but okay, and I did no damage to it because I got rushed by the Challenger. It survived the hit, but I got hit as well. Never mind though, we still won the match. So that was some of the tactical positions and how to play the Rheinland map, which is one of my favorite maps so far, and this map's been pretty awesome. I hope the developers add more maps like these, but yeah, that's just how I play. Usually how I play now. I try to play very effective, and I had some very good games playing this way on this map. It's really effective so far. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe, and with that being said, stay safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.